I'm Grace. I have just looked at a breakdown of what will go into healthcare and what will go into education. These are critical sectors that inform the growth of any country. With healthcare, you have a very wealthy population, and with education, you have a very informed population. And that rather informs the human resource that we export of teachers, engineers, and other professions who have made a name for this country outside the boundaries of Kenya. But is that enough? For example, you have some aspects and percentage of these two sectors which are devolved. To what extent then will the national government involve the counties as well, as they stave off the aspect of leakages financially, involve the counties and help prosper and get the money needed for these two critical sectors?
Right. For the healthcare, there's an allocation that's been given. I think what has not been discussed is the NHIF. There's a contribution that's going to be increased, which is really pretty high. Mm-hmm. Because it will be, the proposal is to have it at 2.75%, and it's not capped. So that will be significantly high and will significantly increase the amount of money that will be allocated to the health sector. Mm-hmm. Again, you know, to what Sandeep and Wanjira said, at the end of the day, the question is, how do we make sure that we're actually getting services for the amount of money that's been allocated and for the contributions that we're making? Okay. We've been contributing a maximum of 1,700 shillings as it stands right now for NHIF. NHIF is collecting huge revenues from the public at 1,700. Now, when we have the 2.5% for all employees, mm-hmm. And, you know, there's different amounts. I think there's 300 for those who are not working. There's 1,000 for those who are not, you know, for those in the informal sector. So it will be a huge chunk. The question is the accountability. Again, we've seen a lot of corruption at NHIF. Yeah. We've had instances where NHIF didn't pay for our surgeries, didn't pay for the medical services that we needed. So what will be different? And that's a question from all the Kenyans. To education, yeah. We have seen numerous times, because it is subsidized, there's an allocation. But whenever there's a school fees payment, we're also having additional fee structures. You know, once you've already paid for your students, somewhere in between, you know, as you move along the term, mm-hmm. There's an additional amount that needs to be paid. So that's never too clear at the onset. What that goes to show, in my view, is the allocations have not been sufficient. And the question to the government is, we've had these allocations year on year. Is there anybody who sits back to actually assess, we had this allocation, of what benefit was it? What did we get out of it? And therefore, what do we need to do in the next financial and fiscal years? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.